Hello, welcome back. Fred in the shed, literally in the shed. Another video on the Superstar 6900N. I had a message from a guy named Alan who was watching one of my YouTube videos. On the video where I actually sort of covered the three functions of the clarifier on this radio, and it's quite important. If you've just bought one of these radios, you need to understand how the clarifier works. It doesn't always come preset to how you want it when it's actually released out of the factory. Anyway, yeah, Alan sort of said, oh, you know, could I sort of just make a quick video, and this is going to be relatively quick and it's straight off the cuff, so you know, any sort of stutterings or mistakes, forgive me, but he just wanted me to go through the band selector because obviously it's come from CB radios in the past and he was just getting a little bit confused with the radio. Now I happen to think that the 6900 November, I think it's one of the easiest radios to come back to CB to, you know, to sort of do all of the bands and all of the modes, sideband and AM and things like that. But so it looks like a CB radio. You've got the obviously the channel selector there that sort of resembles a, you know, traditional CB radio, but really, you know, in truth this is not a CB radio. This is actually made in a factory. It's produced as a 10-meter ham radio, tuning from about 28 megahertz up to 29.7 megahertz, and they connect a USB lead that goes inside on the board. Unfortunately there's not one on the back, so you have to open it up if you want to reprogram it via computer, and yeah, they do that and they reprogram it on, so it works right across the band there, all across 11 meters, and it works very well on 11 meters just as a CB, or if you want to go on to sideband. Yeah, you know, I've proved it. It works absolutely fine. And this one's been programmed, for example, this is a UK spec radio, and typically this one goes from 26.065 all the way up to 29.2 megahertz. Sometimes they go up to about 28.305. Just bear in mind, and I've said this before, once you're above once you're at 28 megahertz or 28 megahertz and above, you are on the ham radio, the 10-meter band, and you need to be licensed to transmit on that band. You can listen on that band, but you cannot transmit without a license. If you do that, you're basically pirating. I do not condone that. The first thing I recommend, if you've just got yourself a CRT 6900, is to get yourself a CB frequency list which tells you where all of the channels are and what frequency they're on. Now you can buy one that if you go on eBay, about £3 or £4 delivered, you get a nice coloured kind of laminated sheet which you can stick up in your shack. The information is available on the internet. Here we go. I just downloaded this from Coastal Communications UK Limited. They basically sell CB equipment, but they've also got frequency listings on their sort of website. So on here it typically gives you the CB band frequency list, and it gives you the Euro band and also the United Kingdom band. So, you know, do what I did. You can sort of print this off very easily, and there you go. These are all the channel numbers, and these are all the sort of frequencies, so it gives you an idea what you're tuned into. If you get confused what band you're on, you can always go back to channel 19 there, if you can sort of read that. It's a bit hard in the shed, but channel 19, and that's 27.78125. All of the UK FM channels are 0.25, which was a bit controversial when it first came out because it meant they weren't compatible with any other channels. We got a bit stitched up there by the government. But anyway, you know, go online, print yourself out a frequency list, or buy yourself, so you can sort of have a check to see what sort of frequency you're sort of tuning into. Right, okay, let's have a look at that the band switch then, and what was getting Alan a bit confused. So when we look at the 6900, then you see there are 6 different bands starting from A all the way round to F. Now if you buy one of these radios set up for the UK spec from Knights, or generally a sort of, you know, an UK eBay seller, pretty much all of these providers will program band F, will be programmed to the UK 40 FM channels. So when you're starting out, that's really, you know, probably where you want to start. You put yourself on band F. If you're unsure, like I say, if you just go up to channel 19, there you go, 27.78125. So that gives you band A to E. Now, as I said before, these radios tune from just above 26 megahertz all the way up to, mine goes up to sort of 29. So if we go over to sort of band A, for example, and then we just go down to channel 1. There you go, you'll see that's 26065, and if I go to channel 40, so band A goes to 26065 up to 26.505. If I go back to channel 1, if I move up to band B, you'll see that continues on. That goes from 26.515, and then if I go to 40, all the way up just to 5 megahertz there, short of 27. And then band C picks up again, 26965, all the way up to 27405. So, and that just continues all the way through your bands there. If you go through them, you'll see it generally tunes from sort of the bottom of the range right up to the top, all the way when we go to band F. But you'll notice on band F on my one, that goes up to 28305. Now that is within the 10 meter hand band, so I couldn't transmit there, but you'll notice it's also been programmed an additional 4 channels right the way up to 29.2. In actual fact, the radio, when you program it, each band can have up to 60 channels programmed in. So in theory, well, in practice really, that's 360 channels. And then when you take into consideration there are actually 5 modes of transmission, that's 360 times 5, which I think is about 1800. So it's actually got 1800 separate channels that can be programmed into it, but you know, don't worry about that. So as you can see, we're on channel 1 here on band A, the lowest of radio we're tuning. As we turn up the different channels there, see we jump up roughly 10 sort of kilohertz there. We go 75, 85. It misses 90, goes to 105. Now the reason it does that is that the radio's been programmed already into the recognised channels for this sort of kind of frequency. All the hard work's been done for you. If this was just a manual tune radio like a HF set, you'd have to keep tuning the dial all the way around. But someone's actually sort of done that sort of for you, so it's channelized, which makes life a lot easier. Now the only thing that you really have to worry about is when you first get the radio, is really to work out what mode that people are going to be transmitting on this sort of frequency. Now when you start, you know, you get your frequency list and you can sort of look this up and basically sort of find it. But what I tended to do was literally just turn up the volume. So I would set the radio on upper sideband USB because it's a little bit quieter, and then just flick through. Right, so when you find some stations actually transmitting and you want to receive them, first thing you want to do is to check that you're in the right mode. Obviously you've got AM, FM, upper sideband, lower sideband. So on this one, for example, it doesn't sound very clear at all, so they're definitely not upper sideband. No, it's not clear, not lower sideband, not FM. There we go. So there you go, you've got foreign speaking channels there, and that's on AM. Now when you're in AM and FM, you do not have to worry about the clarifier, because those actual modes have got a carrier wave. I'm not going to get into too much, just Google it, just Google shortwave radio listening. They have a carrier wave, so you don't need to use the clarifier, so just leave that clarifier well alone. You really want that on 0, 0. If you're in upper sideband, for example, and that's how you can hear the transmissions the clearest, if it's not completely clear, if they're a bit kind of Donald Duck or perhaps Mickey Mouse, then adjust your clarifier backwards and forwards from the 0, 0 central position there until you get them in perfect clarification, so you can sort of understand what they're saying. Just remember though, for example on channel 5 here, obviously we've adjusted the clarifier down to 9.2, which, you know, to hear that station, for example. Now if we then just leave that there, if we go off around the block, if you like, back to channel 1, if we go back to channel 5, you'll notice that the clarifier stays at the setting that you left it. So next time when we go back, if the next station that comes on this frequency is bang on frequency, they will sound a little bit odd. So just when you've finished listening or talking to these the stations there, just remember to always reset the clarifier back at the 0 position. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a quirk on this radio, however you leave that, and the same goes as well for your noise blanker, your Roger bleep, things like that. Whatever you set on these functions, when you go back to that channel, those menu options stay there. So if you say you wanted to put the Roger bleep on, we'll say, okay, it's a bit controversial, but I'm gonna have the Roger bleep on. Well, when you change to go down to say channel 4, your Roger bleep goes off, so it only remembers it for each individual channel, which is a bit odd. I mean, it's just one of the quirks of the radio. But so just remember to set your clarifier back, and that's really, you know, all you're doing really. Just sort of, you know, tune around, get used to your radio, and have a sort of listen. I hope that answers sort of Alan's question. So it's a bit of a sort of a rough and ready video. I haven't got a great deal of time, just coming from work. Just thought I would knock that out. But as for now, cheers, thank you very much. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be doing a few sort of more CB radio videos soon. I'll be going away on hold soon. I'm taking a radio, so there'll be a little bit of a break, and then when I come back there'll be sort of at least a couple of radio videos, and I'm going to be doing some sort of gadgety type videos as well to keep the channel, you know, keep it a bit more interesting and keep the views coming in. But as for now, as always, thank you very much from Fred in the Shed. Thanks for your time, thanks for your views. Hit that subscribe button if you want to sort of see more. Give it the old thumbs up, that sort of helps me and helps the channel. At least I know you're watching it and you like it. But as for now, as always, cheers, thanks for watching, of course, and stay safe, and I'll catch you all on the next one.